guys, you're welcome back to my channel. All right, so today we're going to be making this lovely bubu dress, or you can call it a bubu kaftan with basket wings. All right, so the video is super detailed, but we're just going to be drafting the style for now. Okay, so let's jump right into the video immediately. All right, so I went ahead to draw my margins. You guys know I like to draw my margins just so that our workspace will be clearly defined. All right, so I have a 1 inch drawn on at the top, okay, and I marked ½ inch by the side just for clarity's sake and nothing more. Now let's proceed with the vertical measurements. All right, so her bust point is 10.5 inches, okay, and her waist length is 17.5 inches. So I'll proceed to mark this. Now if you've not taken my measurement class, I'd like you to watch that video. All right, so we're starting with the vertical measurements. So her bust point is 10.5 inches, her waist length is 17.5 inches, her hip length is 26.5 inches, and the full length of the dress is 58 inches. I also added the 2 inches allowance for hemming. Now I'll go ahead and repeat the same marking just so that we can get a straight line. Bust point of 10.5, waist length of 17.5, hip length of 26.5, and full length of 58 plus 2 inches hemming allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect this. All right, and here we have it. Now let's proceed to label the lines. All right, so that's my bust point line, and that's the waist length. Okay, that's also the hip length, and the lower part is the full length and the hemming allowance. All right, now we will start by drafting the back. Okay, so we're going to tighten the waistline with 0.75. Now this tightening is to eliminate the back bulge that usually appears around the zip line. Okay, so we're going to divide from the shoulder to the chest line into two. All right, so we'll get the midpoint there. Now we'll go ahead and connect our 0.75 tightening on the waistline to the mid part. Okay, just like this. It's this simple. Now I'll extend this tightening to the hip length, okay, using a straight line. All right, I'll still darken these lines later. Okay, so we have tightened it. Now let's go ahead and input our round measurements. So her bust round is 44 inches. 44 inches divided by 4 will give us 11. We'll add 1 inch ease to this. Okay, now her waist round is 38. 38 inches divided by 4 will give us 9.5 inches. We'll also add 1 inch ease to this, okay, because this is a free dress. Okay, now her hip round is 44 inches. 44 inches divided by 4 will give us 11 inches. We'll also add 1 inch ease to that. All right, now we'll go ahead and connect these measurements. So we're connecting from her bust round to the waist and the hip. All right, and here we have it. Now let's move down to the full length. So you will first measure what you have on the hip, that is inclusive of the ease, and what we have there is 12 inches. Okay, so on the hem line I will mark the 12 inches measurement first. Now because I want this style to be slightly, so I want it to have a slight A-line shape. All right, so I'll go ahead and add extra 3 inches, okay, because I want the A-line to be minimal. Now you can add as much as you want, but mine is 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect from the hip length to the hem line, all right, using a straight line. Now I'll also use this opportunity to darken all our lines so that we can see it clearly. All right, here we have it. Now let's proceed. So we need to determine the length of the sleeve, okay, and to do this, because this is a cut together, you measure your client or yourself from the center of your neck to your desired sleeve length. Okay, and for my client, hers is 25 inches. Okay, but we'll first mark our neck width. So the neck width we're working with is 3 inches. The neck depth, remember, for the back is 1 inch. So we have 3 inches neck width by 1 inch neck depth. Okay, I'll go ahead and connect this using my curved ruler. All right, now we will need to mark the desired sleeve length. And remember, I told us that you need to take this measurement by placing the tape from the center of your neck to your desired sleeve length. And for my client, hers is 25 inches. Okay, now I'll place my tape from the starting point and not from the neck width. So I have my tape placed from the starting point. All right, so I'll extend it, um and I'll mark my 25 inches. All right, so here we have it. I'll go ahead and make a mark on the 25 inches. Now at that point, we will slope it with 1.5 inches, okay, because we don't need it to be straight. So I'll go ahead and use my straight line. Okay, I'll come in with my straight ruler to connect from the neck width of 3 inches to our 25 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect it to that, our slope of 1.5 inches. All right, and here we have it. Now let's proceed with our markings. Okay, now we need to determine where we want our bat wing to stop. Okay, and mine is 32 inches. So from the starting point, I'm marking my 32 inches. Now I placed my tape on the starting point and not on the shoulder slope. Okay, so I'll make a mark at the 32 inches and I'll go ahead and simply extend that line outward. Okay, so this is where the bat wing is going to stop, or the basket is going to stop. All right, now at that point we'll also need to remark our 25 inches, which is our desired sleeve length. Okay, so I make a mark there. Now I'll come in with my ruler to connect it. So I'm connecting the 25 inches we have on the starting point, okay, or on our shoulder, to where the bat wing is stopping. All right, now I'll go ahead and darken all our lines for clarity's sake. Okay, so here we have it. Let's go ahead with our markings. Now, if you look at the style, you will see that it has basket around the sleeve. Okay, now the width of the basket that I want is 4.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my 4.5 inches. I'll mark it all the way down and I'll proceed to connect it using a straight line. Now, this is the area that we will be forming a basket, okay, on the sleeve. All right, so I'll go ahead and connect this and here we have it. So this is our basket box on the sleeve. All right, so we'll be cutting this out much later, but for now I'll go ahead and write it out, cut, so that we'll know the areas we are cutting. Okay, and as usual we'll label. So I'll call this side my SH, which is the shoulder line. Okay, and the lower part, let's just use B, okay, to represent the bottom or the lower side. All right, then I'll use my arrows to indicate the sides that we're joining. All right, now anything that you're going to use to know the areas you're joining will go a long way to help you. All right, so we're going to be cutting that side off much later. Okay, so let's proceed with our drafting. Now we need to alter the neckline. All right, remember that this is still the back block. So the neck width that we're working with is 4 inches. So this is my desired neck width, 4 inches, and the desired neck depth for the back is 2 inches. Okay, so we're altering it to neck width of 4 inches and neck depth for the back of 2 inches. And I'll go ahead and connect this using my curve ruler. And here we have it. So this is our neck for the back. All right, now we need to determine the depth of our basket, okay, on the back. Now I would like to make use of 8 inches. All right, now I want the depth of the basket to be the same for both the front and the back, so I'm using 8 inches. All right, now you need to mark her shoulder. So the shoulder we are working with is 17 inches. Okay, my client's shoulder is 17 inches, and 17 inches divided by 2 will give us 8.5 inches. Now we're adding extra 1 inch to this, okay, because we want it to drop a bit. So shoulder divided by 2 is 8.5, and we're adding extra 1 inch to that. That's making it 9.5 inches. So I just made a mark on the 9.5 inches. Now we need to go ahead and connect from the shoulder width of 9.5 inches to our 8 inches basket depth. Okay, so we need to connect this. Now the easiest way to do this is to first use a slightly curved line, okay, to connect the 2 points. Now you use your free hand to try and make a curve to link the 2 points. All right, so that's the easiest way I know. I tried some curves and it didn't quite give me the shape. Okay, so I'll suggest you use your free hand just like I have done, and that's it. Is that easy? Okay, so now that we have our curve, we'll go ahead and clean off our initial guideline. All right, so I'll also write cut because we'll be cutting this out much later. Now, let's go ahead and label the areas that will be forming basket. So we're forming basket on the sleeve, our 4.5 inches that we marked there. And we're forming basket here around the neck, okay? So, and that's it for the basket areas. All right, now let's move over to the lower part. We need to add our sewing allowance there. All right, so we'll be marking 1.5 inches as my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and mark this all the way to the hem, and I'll use my straight line to connect it. All right, so at this intercept point, we need to come outward by 1 inch. Okay, so now I'll use a slight curve to just connect the 2 points. All right, because that part is not supposed to be straight. Okay, and that's it. Now I'll use my marker pen to highlight that area. Okay, so that's it for that side. All right, so let's proceed. We're almost done. Okay, now so this is the center back line. All right, I initially intended to draft the front block separate, but we can go ahead and make use of this. So let's just mark our neck width. So let's mark our neck depth for the front, and that's 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and connect that. All right, so this one block will serve for both the front and the back. Okay, so and here we have it. Now so that's our neck depth for the front, and is 4 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and highlight all our necklines. Remember, our neck depth for the back is 2 inches and our neck depth for the front is 4 inches. Okay, now when it's time for us to transfer to the fabric, we will first cut out the front before we'll go ahead and cut out our back tightening. Okay, then transfer to our fabric and cut out. All right, but I'll take us through the entire process. All right, so and that's it actually. Now let's go ahead and add our sewing allowance, our join allowance on the shoulder, which is 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead and mark my 1/2 inch on the shoulder slope. Okay, and I'll use my straight line to connect it. So sometimes I just like to add my allowances to the pattern so that when transferring to the fabric, it's a straight process. You don't have to do further markings. All right, so that's it. We have our allowance added to the shoulder slope. Now let's go ahead and add our sewing allowance also to the necklines. So I'm adding 1/2 inch round to the back neck depth. Okay, and afterwards I'll also add my 1/2 inch to the front neck depth as well. Okay, and here we have it. I'm done adding all the allowances for now. All right, so I'll come in with my scissors and we'll start to cut. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut the back neck depth for now. All right, so here it is. Now let me also add my 1/2 inch for the joining of our basket on the sleeve. Okay, so I'll add this and we'll continue with our cutting. Okay, and here we have it. Now I'll also add my 1/2 inch at this point. All right, so I'll add my 1/2 inch there also. So we'll proceed now to cut. Okay, and like I said earlier, you need to label this pattern as much as you can for clarity, okay, so that you don't get confused. So we'll proceed with our cutting. All right, so here it is. Now let's proceed to cut out the basket on the sleeve. Okay, so I have it cut out now. Now I'll still go ahead and write. So the more you write, the better. I know why I'm emphasizing it. Okay, so that's it. So this is the area that we're going to be forming a basket. All right. Now, well, so I'll also go ahead and write my shoulder line. Okay, and repeat the same labeling on the lower side. All right, and that's it. Now I'll proceed to cut out um our basket space, okay, on the front. Now I didn't know that my camera was not recording, so but it's simple. I simply cut out that curve line that we made. Okay, so that's it. Now we're going to keep these two pieces that we're forming basket on aside. All right, and this is the fabric that we're working with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to the fabric, and like I told us, we will be cutting the front first the way it is. I'll place it on the fabric and cut out the front first, then I'll proceed to cut out our back tightening before we cut the back. Okay. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video where we'll be transferring the patterns to fabric and we'll be sewing. All right, so till we meet again. Bye.